Bears Nation, what if I told you that the one piece missing from our championship puzzle, the game-changing defensive force that could transform us from playoff contenders into legitimate Super Bowl threats, might actually be available right now, and our front office has already made aggressive moves to try and make it happen? What if I told you there's a blockbuster trade proposal on the table that would send shockwaves through the entire NFL, fundamentally alter the balance of power in the NFC North, and give us the kind of elite pass rusher that championship defenses are built around? We're talking about a player who is literally rewriting the record books as we speak. Someone who strikes fear into opposing quarterbacks every single Sunday, and a generational talent whose addition to our roster would instantly make us one of the most dangerous teams in football. Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your number one source for breaking Chicago Bears news, exclusive insider analysis, the hottest trade rumors, roster updates, and the kind of comprehensive football coverage that separates casual fans from the diehards who bleed navy blue and orange every single day. I'm here to deliver the unfiltered truth about our beloved Bears, the strategic insights that matter most, and the perspective you need to understand exactly where this franchise is headed during what might be the most exciting season we've had in years. Let me set the stage for what's happening in Chicago right now, because understanding our current momentum is absolutely essential to grasping why this potential move has Bears Nation buzzing with excitement and anticipation. We're sitting at 7 wins and 3 losses, leading the NFC North for the first time in what feels like forever. The offense under Ben Johnson has been absolutely revitalized, looking dynamic and explosive in ways we haven't seen in years. The culture around Hollis Hall is shifting the right direction. Players are buying in. The coaching staff has this team believing. And for the first time in a long time, Chicago feels like a franchise on the rise, rather than one stuck in perpetual rebuilding mode. The energy is different, the expectations are higher, and the belief that we can actually compete for championships is becoming real rather than just hopeful thinking. But here's the reality that every honest Bears fan has to acknowledge. Despite all that momentum, despite the offensive improvements, despite the wins piling up, there's still a glaring weakness that could derail our entire season if we don't address it. Our defense, which has historically been the identity of Chicago Bears football, has been struggling to find consistency. We're missing that game-changing presence on the edge, that elite pass rusher who can single-handedly wreck offensive game plans and force quarterbacks into mistakes. When you look at championship-caliber defenses across the league, they all have that one player who opposing offenses have to account for on every single snap. We don't have that guy right now. And it's the difference between being a good team and being a great team capable of making a deep playoff run. Now, here's where things get absolutely electric for Bears Nation. Bleacher Report recently floated a trade proposal that has sent our fan base into an absolute frenzy. A blockbuster deal that would address our biggest weakness in the most dramatic way possible. We're talking about acquiring a player who is not just good, not just great, but legitimately one of the most dominant defensive forces in the entire National Football League. This is a player who has been terrorizing quarterbacks for years, someone who is on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and a talent whose impact will be felt immediately from the moment he stepped on the Soldier Field wearing our colors. The proposed trade package is massive, involving significant draft capital that would reshape both franchises involved. But the potential payoff for Chicago could be absolutely transformative. According to the proposal, the Bears would be sending a 2026 first-round pick, a 2026 second-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick, and a 2027 fourth-round pick. That's a substantial haul of future assets, the kind of package that signals a franchise is going all in on their championship window right. It's aggressive, it's bold, and it's exactly the kind of move that separates organizations willing to be great from those content with being mediocre. For the team on the other side of this deal, it would represent a difficult decision, but also an opportunity to rebuild with premium draft capital. For us, it would be a clear declaration to the entire league that the Chicago Bears mean business and are ready to compete for Super Bowls immediately. The player at the center of this blockbuster proposal is none other than Cleveland Browns superstar pass rusher Myles Garrett. And Bears Nation, I need you to understand just how special this player truly is. We're talking about a 6'4", 272-pound absolute freak of nature who combines elite athleticism with technical refinement and an unrelenting motor that never stops. Garrett is currently putting together one of the most dominant stretches of pass rushing excellence in recent NFL history, having recorded 10 sacks in just his last 3 games. Let that sink in for a moment. 10 sacks in 3 games. That's not just impressive. That's historically unprecedented production that shows you the kind of impact he can have on a weekly basis. But it's not just a hot streak we're talking about here. Myles Garrett is the first player in NFL history to record 12 or more sacks in 6 consecutive seasons. That's sustained excellence at the absolute highest level, the kind of consistency that Hall of Fame careers are built on. When you're evaluating whether to trade significant assets for a player, you want someone whose production is proven over years, not just months. And Garrett checks every single box you could possibly want. He's durable too, having played in at least 10 games every season since entering the league in 2017, which addresses any concerns about injury risk that might come with a trade of this magnitude. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're looking at the price tag of 2 first-round picks plus additional selections and wondering if any player is worth that kind of investment. You're concerned about Garrett's age, as he'll be 30 years old by the time next season starts, which adds some risk to making a trade of this caliber. Those are legitimate concerns that deserve serious consideration. But here's my counter-argument, and this is where my optimism and excitement really kicks in. When you have an opportunity to add a generational talent, someone who is still performing at an all-pro level and showing no signs of decline, you absolutely have to consider it serious. The Bears are not in rebuilding mode anymore. We're not a team that needs to accumulate draft picks and hope they develop into impact players 3 years from now. We're in win-now mode with a roster that is one superstar away from legitimate Super Bowl contention. Here's something that should make every Bears fan sit up and pay attention. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, one of the most connected and credible insiders in the entire sport, the Bears already attempted to trade for Myles Garrett during this year's NFL trade deadline. Schefter specifically described Chicago's offer as aggressive, which tells you everything you need to know about how serious our front office is about making this happen. This isn't just media speculation or wishful thinking from analysts. Our organization has already been in active discussions about acquiring Garrett, which means they've done their homework. They've evaluated the fit, and they believe he's the missing piece that can elevate this team to championship contention. The fact that a deal didn't get done at the deadline doesn't mean the door is closed. It likely means Cleveland wasn't ready to move on from their franchise cornerstone at that moment, or the price wasn't quite right for both sides. But circumstances change, teams reassess their situations, and opportunities that seemed impossible can suddenly become realistic. If the Bears are willing to take this pursuit to the next level and put together the kind of package that Bleacher Report proposed, 2 first-round picks along with Day 2 and Day 3 selections, that's likely the type of offer that would force Cleveland to seriously consider moving their star player. Let me paint a picture for you of what the Chicago Bears' defense would look like with Myles Garrett anchoring our pass rush. Opposing offensive coordinators would have to completely alter their game plans, knowing they need to account for him on every single snap. Quarterbacks will be under constant pressure, forced to make quick decisions and throw into tighter windows. Our secondary would benefit enormously from having an elite pass rusher collapse in the pocket and giving them less time to cover. The entire defensive unit will be elevated by having that kind of game wrecker setting the tone and making plays that swing momentum. We would instantly become one of the most feared defenses in the NFC, the kind of unit that can carry you through the playoffs when games get tight and every possession matters. Think about what this would mean for our championship aspirations. We already have an offense that can score with anybody when Ben Johnson's system is clicking. Add an elite defense anchored by Myles Garrett, and suddenly we're not just hoping to make the playoffs. We're talking about being legitimate Super Bowl contenders who can go toe-to-toe with the best teams in football. The NFC is wide open, with no truly dominant team that looks unbeatable. This is exactly the kind of season where making a bold move to upgrade your roster can be the difference between watching the Super Bowl from home and actually playing in it. The question isn't whether the Bears are interested in trading for Garrett. That much is already clear from our reported aggressive pursuit at the deadline. The real question is whether the Cleveland Browns are willing to part with their franchise cornerstone. and what it would take to convince them that rebuilding with premium draft picks is the right path forward. For Cleveland, it's an agonizing decision. Garrett is the face of their franchise, a player who has given them everything, and moving on from him would be painful for their organization and fan base. But they also have to look at their record, assess their realistic championship timeline, and decide whether holding on to a 30-year-old pass rusher makes sense if they're not truly contending for titles in the immediate future. For us as Bears fans, this is the kind of move that could define our franchise for the next 5 years. If we make this trade and Garrett helps lead us to a Super Bowl, nobody will care about the draft picks we gave up. Championships justify everything, and that's what we're chasing. The window is open right now with this roster, this coaching staff, and this momentum we've built. Being aggressive and going after a player of Garrett's caliber is exactly what championship organizations do when they see an opportunity to get over the hump. Bears Nation, I want to hear directly from you on this one. Would you be willing to trade 2 first-round picks plus additional selections to bring Myles Garrett to Chicago? Do you believe he's the missing piece that transforms us into legitimate Super Bowl contenders? Are you concerned about his age and the cost? Or do you think the potential reward justifies the risk? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments right now, because I genuinely want to know how our fan base feels about pursuing a blockbuster move of this magnitude. If you want to stay completely plugged into every development with the Myles Garrett situation, every trade room, every roster move, and every strategic decision that impacts our championship pursuit, you need to subscribe to Bears News Fan Report immediately and hit that notification bell. This is your home for daily Bears content, insider analysis, and comprehensive coverage you won't find anywhere else. Share this video with every Bears fan you know. Smash that like button if you're excited about these possibilities, and keep coming back for more exclusive updates. Bear down, Chicago. Let's go win a champion.